That's not helping.
Welcome to The Pull Bag. Join us as we dig out our latest comics and discuss them with a rotating panel of the GCRN crew. So sit back and enjoy this week's Pull Bag.
Hello and welcome to The Pull Bag. This is yet again another new episode of The Pull Bag. This is actually episode 87. It all comes around to the 80s, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host, TFG Mike, and joining me once again for this journey into Eternia is Adas Baron. Hello.
Hello!
How are you, Skeletor?
Well, that wasn't quite Skeletor. That's more like Skeletor. I need me a Skeletor outfit at some time.
Oh, Lord. So it has been since... Wow, it's only been 4 episodes. Well, okay, it's been a number of episodes since you and I recorded, since I do a lot of the back issue classics and stuff like that, but in the numbered episodes of the Pull Bag, it's only actually been 87 minus 83 is 4 episodes, so technically it's been about... We did the last one in July, so it's been about 2 months.
Like an eternity or an Eternia.
Yeah. So we are back. I'm hoping to do these a little bit more frequently now that we've kind of gotten the gist of what's going to be going on. Currently, He-Man the Masters Universe from DC Comics is in the Blood of Grayskull storyline. It's basically the origin of She-Ra. Which I like that they're doing that. After what we're going to be covering today, we will be going What Lies Within, which is the second story arc for He-Man the Masters of the Universe 2013, which is all about going into Subternia and dreams and darkness and all kinds of weird, crazy stuff from issues 7 to 12 of He-Man the Masters of the Universe. About a month ago, since this episode will be airing in late September, about a month ago, Comic Book Resources put up a story because everybody, all these comic companies put out their... See, I thought previews and solicitations were for 2 months before the books hit brick and mortar and online shops and everything else. Well, here it is, August, September... And we're 4 months away from December, and we already know what's going to be happening to He-Man and the Masters of the Universe from this point. I will link this article in the post, but I'm going to go ahead and read it verbatim here. According to comicbookresources.com, IGN reports that Dan Abnett and Pop Mahan will take on DC Comics' He-Man franchise in December with He-Man the Eternia War. The series will replace Abnett and Mahan's current ongoing, what we are reading right now. Now, I will say that Keith Geffen really got this off the ground when it started last year, and then Dan Abnett took over. I wasn't too thrilled with the writer change, because I like how Geffen writes the characters a little bit more, but I've gotten used to Abnett writing it. So... Eternia War will replace the current ongoing. The story was developed by Rob David, head writer for Masters of the Universe franchise at Mattel's Playground Productions. This is the big one, the epic, so much Masters of the Universe lore and mythology sweeping together in one storyline. He-Man, She-Ra, their allies combine to take Eternia back from Hordak in the war to end all wars, and there are other sinister threats lurking in the shadows, Abnett said via press release. Did I say epic? I think I did, twice. And Pop is a genius. His art is amazing, and he's the sort of artist that writers long to write for. I can't properly express how excited I am about this book. Abnett and Mahan have already made their mark on the He-Man and the Masters of the Universe ongoing series with the duo's current arc, The Origin of She-Ra, delving into the origins of Princess Adora. Although DC's November solicitations, as of this news article in August, have yet to surface, it is likely that the new He-Man, the Eternia War series, will replace He-Man the Masters of the Universe number 20 when it debuts in December. So, I know this is a I don't want to say a cash grab. It's not a reboot. It's just it's a renumbering. Instead of continuing on calling it He-Man and the Masters of the Universe, they're going to call it He-Man the Eternia War, and just number it, back from number 1. Like, I don't understand. Like, I'm all for this new storyline. I'm currently reading the Blood of Grayskull storyline with the She-Ra origin and all that stuff. I'm loving it so far. But I don't understand DC's need. I mean, I guess it's to bring in new readers. I don't understand their need to, and it's not just DC. Marvel does this too. I don't understand the need to change the overall series title, like retire this series at 20 issues, and then start a whole new series that might only go another 20 damn issues.
Well, yeah, it's by naming it the Eternity War, it feels like there's a finite number of issues that this can cover. Mm-hmm. So maybe this is just a way to close it out. I'm not sure.
I'm not sure either. But we are here today to talk about...
Oh, yeah, we're here for another reason. Okay.
Yeah, we're here for another reason. We're here to talk about the 6-issue mini-series that takes place in between issues 6 and 7 of the current ongoing DC Universe versus Masters of the Universe. I can't... excuse me, I can't help but think that Mattel should have re-released the crossover toys to fit in with this comic line.
or they could have just done the same thing, but since this is the new 52 era, just done something like that.
I mean, they could still use the same, DC Universe versus Master Universe, and like you said, just make a toy out of the new 52 era. I mean, if Scott, whatever his name, Toy Guru, Nightlick, whatever, if they can make friggin' New Adventures He-Man, they can make new 52 He-Man. Yeah. What were your first impressions of this when you first heard about it?
Kind of a cash grab. I don't know how in-depth the story is going to be. I'll read it to see if it's worth my time. Yeah.
Okay, so you weren't that excited for it. I'll say this. The one thing that had me excited for it when I first heard about it was that it was going to be Keith Giffen writing it. Again, I have read him on Masters since the 2012 miniseries, and through the first 6 issues of the ongoing, which we already covered here inside the pull bag. I like the way he handles the Masters characters. I think it's great. No disrespect to Dan Abnett. What he's doing currently is fine. I like it. I enjoy it. But at first it was really rough for me to get a hold and a grasp on Abnett's. Right. There are things that will be coming up when we do that episode featuring issues 7 to 12 that there are things that he writes that come out of these characters' mouths that I just don't like. He uses old-timey English.
Yeah,
and
it becomes later on. It becomes very apparent with characters like Man-at-Arms, which just feels totally out of character.
Exactly.
But that's for later.
Yeah, that's for later. The way we're going to do this is kind of how we did it last time. We're going to take a look at 2 issues per little segment here, so that way it's not as taxing on us. So we're going to take a quick break. You're going to hear some sort of DC clip or He-Man clip. I don't know what kind of audio I'm going to put in here. So we're going to take a quick break, come back with issues number 1 and 2 after this.
Because this time, I won't stop until you're just a greasy smear on my fist. Let's go.
All right. First up, DC Universe versus Master of the Universe, number 1. This one came with 2 covers. It came with a Masters cover and a DC cover. And it says Clash of Champions.
Now, looking at it from a distance, or, how your eye wanders, I read it as Clamp of Champions. Clamp Champions!
Yes, because of Clamp Champ. Uh-huh.
Where is he? He's like the only Masters character not in the story. I love me some Clamp Champ.
I'm gonna have to look at it somewhere else. I can't look at it in my folders here. No, I actually wrote a review on geekcastradio.com for this one. I was going to write reviews for all 6 of these issues, and I just kind of got lazy about it.
It's understandable.
Well, it's because I usually write the reviews, you know. Oh wait, no, I actually wrote the first 2 issues. I'm sorry, I wrote the first 2 issues for review. But issue number 1 here had dueling covers, and I actually had my buddy TV's Mr. Neil. I had him basically combine them for me so I could have one large giant image of both of the covers.
Is this? I'm just from the artwork. Is this I can see in the is this an Ivan Reis cover?
I'll have to look. It says the art's done by Dexter Soy, but the cover might be done by somebody else. Let me look here in the issue.
I do see a signature beneath.
Yeah. Let me see here. All right. Letters. Ed Benez and Randy Mayer are the covers.
Oh.
So it's Ed Benez. I love that they did 2 covers for this, depending on which franchise you're a fan of. I just wish they would. As much as I normally don't like when DC does like strange covers, like fold-out covers and stuff, I almost wish that this was a fold-out cover. Because this is an amazing. You put these 2 covers together, like Neil did with this image for me. It's an amazing battle scene between the 2 universes.
Yeah, I get the sense of real depth in this because just the way it's layered.
Absolutely. So we start issue number 1 on Earth, and all these weird things are coming out of the walls and the ground, and they look like a cross...
Like Skeletor rats.
Yeah, Skeletor rats, I was going to say, they look like a cross between Mousers and the Rat King rats. But,
yeah.
So we got that. And we see that we have a strange, somewhat young-looking blonde woman.
Yeah, she looks like she's in her 20s, which...
Doesn't look like she should have a son that's in his 20s. 20s or 30s.
Mm-hmm.
And she comes upon the house of John Constantine. We don't know who she is right off the bat, but we go to Eternia, where the Horde is, running rampant, and He-Man and the Masters are trying to save it. First thing I'll say about this, as much as I love Dexter Soy and his art stuff in almost everything he does, I hate the look of Stratos here.
Yes, I will wholeheartedly agree with you. As a matter of fact, as we find out, or at least to me, these characters are constantly changing their outfits. Now, I know He-Man got a new outfit circa, issue 4 or 5.
Yeah.
But it seems like all the other characters are slightly changing their designs, and there's no explanation to it, and it's just leaving readers like me and other people just totally lost. Like, did I miss an issue? Should I be reading other things? But yeah, Stratos' outfit is awful.
He's the only one out of all of... okay, sure, I had my begrudgments against He-Man's new outfit when that happened in issue 4 of the ongoing... But by this time, I just look at it as, it's He-Man as Iron Man without the helmet. That's really how I look at him.
I just take into account, people are, he's got a new costume, wah. Well, how many different variations? We got like 3 different He-Man figures in the original line. It's just like a variant. Yeah. So...
Yeah, and that's fine. I mean, I'm not gonna take a point off my rating for this just because I don't like He-Man's outfit. I might do it for Stratos because Stratos just looks strange to like. It would be fine if Dexter had given him like the 2002 look, or even the Filmation look. So we have He-Man the Masters, I love the way Giffen writes these characters, and the whole thing is, um, and Tila, this time we need a functional one. We can't
Yeah.
interrogate scrap metal. He was checking out my butt, the perv. I mean,
Well, then don't put
this.
it on for the town to look at it.
Yeah,
If she's ready for battle, why are her back and her sides of her abdomen exposed?
yeah, true. Um, this is why I love Keith Giffen writing these characters for Masters, because it puts a comedy in it, and it puts a like I haven't seen witty banter between Adam and Tila since the 2002 series.
Yeah.
Since,
In terms of the comedy, it works
Mhm.
better for the Masters characters than it does for the DC ones.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, well, Batman and Superman always have comical moments, but that's because they're Batman and Superman. Um, so they're fighting the Horde. What do you think of the fight here, and all the bantering going back and forth?
Well, again, it was something that in the original series and back in the '80s they kept telling everyone, but you never really quite saw it, or the performances didn't bring it out. But in these issues, you can clearly see it.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Um, so they break into this box, and they free, lo and behold, Evil In.
Who I think has did her skin color change again?
Um, yeah, she's back to being flesh tone. Um, whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, it's.
Just some consistency would be appreciated.
I mean, whatever. Whether she's yellow, whether she's blue and white, it honestly does not matter to me. Um, so they talk of Skeletor and what's going on with that, and we go back to Earth, and we see that this woman is telling them a story, um, and she says the other one says. And I would not have known of your coming were you not a dire harbinger. Is that all right? It's all right. Today I play the Gore Crow. So be it. And you know who I am then. I know of your need of, if not of the need of itself, perhaps you might enlighten me. I'd rather not repeat myself. Um, and this woman says Skeletor walks the earth, so until we get what she actually says a little bit later, I pretty much already picked up that this is Marlena.
Yes.
It's
Now,
it's not painfully obvious, but for fans like us and reading the series to this point,
and it's a blonde Marlena this time.
I don't mind it. I mean, Tila dyed her hair.
I mean, it would explain why Adora and Adam are blonde, so.
Yeah.
But if she left Earth decades ago.
She should be old.
Well, not only that, how in the world does she know who John Constantine is?
Yeah. That's the one thing I'm not too clear on with this story is that not necessarily the time travel, but basically this comes out later. I didn't want to go to it here, but I will. Basically, later on in issue 3 or 4 or whatever, when they're giving Orko's origin and all that, it is revealed that Queen Marlena got trapped with Skeletor on Earth. Skeletor cursed her. She can never leave the Earth again. During the whole 2012 miniseries when everyone lost their memory.
Mm-hmm.
So when everyone lost their memory, even though Adam was able to, free them of that, Marlena was on Earth at that time. They just figured she was dead. They didn't know where she was. I love that Giffen has brought her in. I love how he went and explained where the hell she is instead of just assuming that she's dead.
It just seems like the writing for her just seems a little kind of half-assed. It's like, oh no, we need to use this character. Quick, come up with something.
um, Skeletor has no jaw.
Yes, which is probably the only thing I liked about his new design. It's so over the top.
It's WWE over the top.
Yeah. But, keeping continuity in mind, I like the fact that they didn't include his lower jaw.
Yeah. I honestly, they make reference to when He-Man basically slapped his jaw off. I honestly don't remember where that happened.
That was the final fight in the six-parter, the 6 issue.
Oh, in the miniseries. Okay. Yeah, I remember that now. Yeah. Okay. It's been so long between then and now, so it's kind of hard to. So we go back to Earth. We go to Salem, Massachusetts, where all witchcraft is handled. We have Skeletor and Black Alice.
I don't know much, if anything, on her.
Same here. She's essentially, to me, in this issue, in this series, she's basically a Harley Quinn for Skeletor.
Yeah.
That's really all she is. She is some sort of mystic, but that's the best that I know just reading this series without having to look her up.
She feels totally unnecessary in this. I mean, if Skeletor is this grand mystic himself, I feel like he could have carried this by himself.
Absolutely. So we see Skeletor talking to this dark master of his. And this is going to come up later. This is probably one of the best things that came out of this series because they actually did something with the character.
Yeah.
And they tied it back to a different Master's character, which is really awesome. At least in my opinion.
Well, if the listeners listen to the 6-parter, we're not really giving anything away.
No, well, this confirms this whole 6-issue series here confirms what we thought of at the end of the 2012 DC Universe Masters miniseries. That blue hand, like this series right now confirms it, and it gives you how that happened. And it's kind of sad it took them a year to get to this, but at least we got it. We go back to Earth, and we have Marlena, Constantine, and this other woman. I don't remember her name off the top of my head. It might have been Madame Xanadu or something or other.
Possibly.
I could be wrong. The bottom panel here, Marlena says, "Magic is a fact of life and eternity. Here on Earth, there are, a few dozen active mages on the entire world? The essence here is barely tapped. Earth's font is a rich source of potential near limitless power."
It always comes back to the Earth being the center of the universe.
Yep. And Constantine pipes up and says, "That is why we're here, why I tolerate this. Justice League Dark can't have someone getting too greedy now, can we? Then you'll help me?" Nope. We'll see to this. We'll see to this. You just be in the way. Going to need to know everything you know about this Skeletor character before we can. What? You lack respect. Know that you are addressing Marlena of Two Worlds, wife of Randor the Fourth.
Warrior Queen of Eternia!
Yeah. And she doesn't backhand him, she doesn't smack him, she punches the guy.
Well, does she punch him, or is that magic?
No, she doesn't have magic. She punched him.
Okay.
Maybe. Oh, I see what it is. No, she did smack him, but it looks she smacked him with her left hand, but it looks because her right hand is cocked back. It looked like she was gonna just punch him straight in the face. And and he goes, I don't suppose it ever occurred to you to lead off with the warrior, Queen of Eternia? Oh, man. Absolutely love the comedic moments in this. So the basic plot, starting off with this issue, is that Skeletor is siphoning off Earth's magic. Marlena is going to Constantine and Madame Xanadu to try to stop him. Skeletor has this mysterious dark master, and he says, and yeah, I like this first issue. I think it's really cool seeing all of these people come together. And I do love how this ends. This ends really, really awesome. Evelyn, we go back to Eternia. We have a huge, 2.5 page discussion with He-Man, Teela, Man-at-Arms, and Evelyn. And she, Teela says, Teela curses because it doesn't show, but it shows the symbols. She blindsided us. She was silent conjure. Poof. And the next thing we see is, Mom? Adam? You've got to be kidding me. Crisis next. Yeah. Crisis on whichever Earth this turns out to be.
Yeah, I did like that.
I thought that was awesome. The first issue, it sets everything up fairly nicely. I don't think it's as heavy-handed as you do of them bringing Marlena in. I think it's more, at least for me personally, it's more of, hey, we finally get to find out what the hell happened to her because it wasn't explained before.
Yeah.
I remember, for some odd reason, before issue number 2 came out, the DC website did not have... It had the solicit for it, but it had a top secret image on the thing for the longest time until it released, and then it's basically Skeletor Unleashed. And he's got, Man-at-Arms, Superman, Wonder Woman, Teela, Batman, and He-Man all at his feet while he's trying to... I don't know, breathe. I'm not sure what's coming out of his mouth.
Emanating power or something.
Yeah. For once, I'd like to see him try to say, I have the power.
Well, without a lower jaw, maybe you can't.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the one thing. He has no lower jaw. How is he able to talk? Is it all telepathic?
Well, I mean, he has no lips, so how was he able to pronounce anything to begin with?
Yeah, that's true. I mean, it's very true. And Dexter Soy does Skeletor's word balloons almost as if they're an effect of everything.
Yeah.
So it's they're not... I don't want to say they're not real word balloons, but they have more of, squiggly lines around them and stuff like that. Issue 2 starts off, and we go back to Earth where Evelyn, Evelyn, He-Man, and Teela show up, which I don't understand why Man-at-Arms did not get transported with them. Because wasn't he right? Weren't Man-at-Arms and Stratos right friggin' there when Evelyn transported?
Unless they went off to pee or something.
Unless Battlecat had to go to the bathroom. So we get, Mom, you're alive. Not for much longer at this rate. And of course, Teela, less talking, more killing.
It doesn't think anything over and just starts pulling out her gun and blasting everywhere. How is she one of the leaders of the Royal Guard?
Mm-hmm. I mean, I like Tila in this series more than I do in the Filmation series, but yeah, I mean, she still has those bonehead type moments. And the title of this story is Justice Denied, and it takes the magic of both Evelyn and Constantine to subdue these rat-like creature thingamajigs. So, yay, team up. We get, let's see, John Constantine says, yes, your queen there mentioned some sort of storybook character where you come from, which is funny considering Eternia is as mythical to us as Oz and Shangri-La. Evelyn says, I didn't recognize those names, but you will find Lord Skeletor to be all real. I think this is cool. You know, He-Man actually being able to find his mom again. I thought that was, you know, a nice little thing for them to do. And, you know, we get the standard story that we got in the very misfortunate Filmation episode titled The Rainbow Warrior. We basically get the same origin here where Marlena, as an astronaut, crash landed on Eternia. Randor found her, they fell in love, and yada yada yada.
It's only like one panel, so it's quick.
Yeah, I mean everybody knows that. What are your thoughts on the art so far for this one?
Did it change from the first issue?
Not really. It's the same artist. It's still Dexter Soy.
Okay. There's a lot of it that invokes to me like a lot of the designs for Aeon Flux.
Mm-hmm.
It's
especially when you see Evelyn. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can agree to that. We go to the Justice League satellite, and there is an intruder. Superman's like, who could have made it up here? Cyborg says, maybe someone in a ship or a teleporter, or in a ship. The teleporter didn't activate. Whoever it is, they're about to be very, very sorry.
And then Skeletor goes into one of his speeches, which, you know, it's I always pictured the 80s Skeletor voice.
No, I know. I was really hoping that they would do a Return of the Joker homage here. Oh, brave new world that has such putzes in it. I was really hoping that's what it would have said, but
Oh, I am no shaker of spears, nor a rattler of sabers. I am the doom of all who dare oppose me. I am Skeletor.
Yeah.
You do that amazingly well.
Oh, thank you.
It's like Brian Dobson, it's Brian Dobson, right? That did him in 2002.
Yeah.
It's like Brian Dobson is right here in the room with us.
I keep him in my pocket. It's not actually me.
Somehow that doesn't surprise me.
It's a very, very big pocket.
Yes. So Skeletor shows up, and he basically tells Superman that you have two weaknesses. One is magic, or one is a green rock, and the other is magic. And because your weakness is magic, that makes you my plaything. The way I look at Skeletor versus Superman is the way I look at Magneto versus Wolverine.
If you look at that one piece where he's blowing him away, it does have that very Magneto feel to it.
Yeah, it does. Well, he is wearing a purple suit.
Yeah,
so.
especially the purple.
And as much as I love Giffen's writing, I don't like him. I don't like any of them. I understand it's the language of Eternia, but I don't like them calling Woman of Wonder and Man of Bats.
Yeah,
We'll get to... It's a little weird. I mean, I understand it's their language, and that's fine, but yeah, a little strange.
Yeah.
We get back to Eternia.
And Roboto's now in one of his, God, like another dozen forms, and now he's this giant tank-looking monstrosity.
Yep, and apparently they've upgraded him so he can track signals.
He's basically like Stell from Green Lantern. They're just constantly updating him.
Yep.
Oh, there's Eyesore Stratos again.
Yeah.
Oh, no, New Goblin Stratos.
New Goblin is so much better than New Stratos, though. That's the sad thing.
At least we know James Franco's underneath that one.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, like even Stratos in the 2002 series had, an open, like, I mean, this looks like it's fucking Deadpool. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but that's what the mask for Stratos looks like. It looks like Deadpool to me. So they can track the signal, and they do. But before that, we found out in the panel before this that Batman enacted an emergency teleport and got the hell out. And He-Man and the Mystics with Evelyn, Constantine, and whoever the other woman is, I forget her name, Madame Xanadu or whatever, they arrive in the Batcave, and we see the 1989 Tim Burton Batmobile is the only one there.
Oh, no, there are a couple. There's the Tumbler in the back.
Oh, it's okay, but I'm saying like center stage.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. Yeah, the Tumbler's there too.
Yeah, but anytime we see the 89 Batmobile, it's a welcome.
That's always a good thing.
Uh-huh.
That's right. I think they're making the new one a mix of everything.
Yeah. It brings up a big debate as to why are there guns on the front of this thing.
Maybe they have rubber bullets.
I know,
now.
but like even in the 89 Batmobile where it's still firing stuff out of it, there are clearly not guns on it at all times. It just screws with that, with Bruce's rule, just no guns and no killing. But it's just to have it in plain sight, it seems to be a slap in the face.
Yeah.
But I do love the outfit.
You like what?
I do love the new costume though for the movie.
Yeah. So we get into the Batcave.
I love Tila's line here.
Yeah.
She's like, it's a panel of the Robins and Nightwing outfits, and she just mutters, "Let's get out of here. I think he kills kids."
She so does not know Batman.
Oh yeah, I forgot the whole Scareglow thing.
Yep.
I do like that.
I thought that was it. As much as I don't really have that much affinity for the toy looks cool. And I know everyone loved the Masters Classics version of Scareglow that way because he glowed in the dark and everything else. But I had zero connection to the character.
Oh, yeah, neither do I. He just looks cool.
Yeah. And of course, He-Man comes up with his big honking sword. Demon, be gone! Who the hell are you, and how did you find the Batcave? I love seeing these characters interact. This is the best thing ever. I thought this was so awesome.
It seems like there's always someone who keeps finding entry into the Batcave.
Yeah.
What are you doing in my cave? Well, Jesus, Bruce, you're the one who designed it. Why are so many people breaking in?
Yeah. I do love how Dexter draws and colors Batman here. Do you see any ashtrays in here? Now explain yourselves. Just the way that he looks. And I mean, First, you got John's little woman there complaining about his cigarettes, and now you've got Batman complaining about the cigarettes. So we get to the point where Superman flashes in with giant Skeletor-looking smoke coming out of his eyes, and we can clearly tell that he and the rest of the Justice League are possessed.
Always with the possessions here.
Yeah. It's interesting.
It felt a little predictable because how else are you going to write these characters into Masters lore?
Yeah, true.
I mean, that's the way any crossover with this character meets that character. Well, how are they going to fight? Because we need them to fight at some point. Well, mind control or sorcery or something.
Yeah, mind control, and then because of the mind control, when He-Man kills Superman, they think Superman is dead. And this so reminded me of the Justice League episode, Justice League Unlimited. Is it Unlimited or it's Justice? I don't give a shit, people.
Mm-hmm.
It's called Justice League, 2001 to 2006, 5 years. It's just fucking Justice League. I know they changed the title after time, but the Hereafter episode, that's what this whole scene coming up reminds me of, where Toyman basically made Superman go bye-bye,
Mm-hmm.
and everyone thinks Superman is dead, and they have the funeral and everything else. So He-Man attacks Green Lantern and Flash and all these people. Flash, for one thing, puts his hands on Marlena, and then He-Man's like,
Get your hands off my mama.
Yeah, pretty much. And then Superman's like, you should not have done that. And this image, as much as I don't really care for New 52 He-Man design, this image is amazing. With Superman standing over him and him with the sword. I love that image.
Oh, yeah.
So awesome. We then get a 2-page spread of He-Man versus Superman. And I do love He-Man's internal monologue. I think that's really cool how Geffen worked that in. And he's basically saying, hey, look, one life versus a billion lives between our two worlds. I'll make the sacrifice. He-Man somehow
Rolls his sword into Superman's chest.
Oh no, he doesn't hurl his sword. He just stabs him because you can see his hand is still on it.
Okay, I have to zoom in to see that. Yeah.
Yeah, and Batman is like, it ends with Batman, what have you done?
Well, there's that in the background. I guess it's Skeletor's face, which kind of foreshadows what eventually happens.
Yeah, I mean, we know at this point that it is mind control. I mean, these first 2 issues, solid start to the series. I like them. I love the art. There's nothing... Okay, outside of Stratos' strange design, other than that, I mean, the characters that we're dealing with now between Batman and He-Man and Superman and all that, absolutely love the art in these first 2 issues. Really digging the story. Like, I wasn't sure if I was going to dig the story and dig how they interact, but it works. It really does. What are your overall thoughts of issue 1 and 2?
I felt that, they could have condensed this into 1.5 issues.
Mm-hmm.
It's more so the stuff when you introduce Skeletor and they just keep cutting back to
Right.
him and Black Alice and Constantine was down to do. Those could have been really condensed. I felt it was a little more filler. But I do like He-Man's, with most superhero comics or any media interpretation of them, there's always this moral question that they bring up, and then they just go back and forth. What do I do? What do I do? And they just waste so much time. He-Man's like, nope, I will sacrifice these people for the good of, 1 million lives. And gets right to the point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, He-Man, the second issue shows that He-Man does have a moral code, basically Flash attacked his mom. He and Superman fought. And he has this moral code, and he's not an indecisive person. Once he is set on a course of action, he's set. And, not necessarily consequences be damned, but it's just one of those things. Like I said, I like the first 2 issues. I think they're pretty interesting and cool. I think we're going to take another quick break and get to issues 3 and 4 after
Not
this.
a chance, muscle brain. I don't do things for humanity. I do them for me. Wait, I will control Eternia all by myself.
Not as long as my friends and I are here to stop you.
Maybe not this time, but I'll be back. Count on it.
I don't get it. Why doesn't Skeletor use his powers to do something good?
Orko, some people are just blind. They don't know right from wrong.
When I do something wrong, Man-at-Arms sends me to my room. Too bad it's not that easy with Skeletor.
You know, that's not a bad idea, Orko.
It's not?
Uh-huh. Next time Skeletor does something wrong, we'll send him to your room.
My room?
From what Man-at-Arms tells me, your room is such a mess that Skeletor would never find his way out.
All right, I'll go clean it up right now. Want to help me?
Glad to, my little friend. Don't wait for us. I have a feeling we're going to be a while.
All right, here we go. Issue number 3. It is Wonder Woman versus Teela on the cover.
And for once, Teela is wearing more than another female character.
Yeah, she kind of is. She's got the leggings and the armored legs and I like this cover. I think it's interesting. I wish the covers were a little bit better. I was really hoping for all 6 issues to have double covers, honestly, to have, full spread wars on all of them.
Because this cover looks like it's part of something else. You have to look to the other issues to see if...
No, I've got issue 4 in my hand. There's no way that issue 3 and 4 could be together.
Yeah.
Not even the issue 5 and 6. Issue 5 and 6 possibly yes, but issue 3 and 4 no. I don't know. That would have been kind of cool though if they did that, kind of like what they did with that number 6 issue for the miniseries, the wraparound. That would have been kind of cool. All right, issue number 3, we get to Wayne Manor, Gotham City. Good God, they killed Superman.
You can't kill Superman.
I didn't want to. You people attacked us.
Yeah, everyone just kind of, oh my God, they killed him. How could you? You're so cruel.
Pretty much, yeah.
But didn't that reverse the mind control of the other Justice League members?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because the whole point of this issue is Batman is trying to get them to see, hey, look, Skeletor was screwing with your minds. And we have Evelyn in Transformers the movie 2015, starring as Wheelie. Earth and water heed my call, fire jump into my grasp, and wind restore to me. It just, oh God, the rhyming. Every time I see any character rhyming, I always think of Wheelie from G1. Wheelie. I do like Soy's art on the image of her getting her staff back. I thought that was a really cool image. So
do you mean the one where as she's conjuring it up, or the one where she has it in her hand and the perspective is kind of skewed?
The one where the perspective is kind of skewed.
Yeah.
I thought that was really awesome.
It's like this big grand conjuring scene, and then you cut to the next panel, and Teela's got a gun at her head.
Yep. Yep. Actually, the whole page, honestly, I mean, it looks so friggin' cool. So they're in Metropolis because they apparently teleport, and yeah, we get to save for the moment, perhaps. But once word spreads about Superman's death, the entire world will hunt us. Dun dun dun.
Let me pause it right here. I think Mallory's locked out outside. I have to get it.
All right, cool. 423. She get locked out?
Yeah, the door at the bottom of the stairs is acting up the past day or so.
All right, 437. Continue. So we go back to Wayne Manor, and this is where Bruce is trying to talk to all of them, and make them listen, and saying that can you remember why Superman attacked the Batcave? In your wildest dreams, would he ever do such a thing? Green Lantern says, we're wasting time here. We should be hunting down his murderers. Yeah, they can't just run loose. Well, Batman, are you coming or not? Huh. Get off my lawn.
Well, everyone's grieving the loss of Superman, and then he pulls a Yoda and just kind of deteriorates into nothingness.
Yeah, pretty much.
And
he basically evaporates, much like I was saying about that Justice League episode where he basically disappears.
Is it just this page that the artwork clearly changes?
It's still Dexter Soy. Maybe he changed the style of it. Maybe it's the way the angle is. But I mean, Wonder Woman's outfit. It's a little strange because if you look at Wonder Woman on this page and then you look at her on the front cover, her outfit on the front cover is more metallic looking, and here it looks like a ratty piece of red cloth.
Yeah.
I don't know. I still think Batman looks cool, though. Get off my lawn. I remember when I picked this issue up and I read that line, I'm like, yeah, I gotta screen cap that. Put that on Facebook.
That seems like a line for Kevin Conroy at some point.
Yeah, it really, really does. So we go back to the House of Secrets, where Black Alice is looking at the news stories and talking about getting broadband, set up and everything else. And Skeletor says, I did not predict what would happen when I set Man of Steel at He-Man's throat. Oh no, did I not predict? My nephew is above all things a warrior. He would not stop at nothing to save both worlds. I knew his warrior's code would ill serve him in this realm.
When he's been resurrected, is it just me or does he seem exceptionally large?
Yeah, I think it's the way Dexter is drawing him. Not that I dislike it. I think it's kind of cool. But he looks like he's 6'10", 200 and something pounds. He looks like he's Undertaker's height.
Yeah, he massive.
Yeah, pretty much. We go back to Eternia, and we see that Man-at-Arms, Roboto, Mossman, and Battlecat and Stratos, who still looks like Deadpool with wings, they're ready to cross the void and go to Earth and see what is going on.
It seems like Battlecat is the only one of these characters who has come out totally unscathed from the costume designs.
Mm-hmm.
Mossman looks so boring.
I think they put a little bit more work into Swamp Thing later, so I think that's kind of the reason why Mossman looks so boring. But yeah, I mean, Mossman, he does. He looks really, really boring. Yeah, Battle Cat is the. I mean, you can't screw with Battle Cat. You can't screw with his design. He's a green and yellow striped tiger. Well, he's a green tiger with yellow stripes, and he has a red helmet and a red set. If anyone screws with that design for Battle Cat ever, the one thing I hope at some point in this not this miniseries, but in the series to this point, we really need to see a Battle Cat Panther fight. We really, really do.
That'd be great.
That would be awesome. So we get back to they put way more design into Swamp Thing. Look at that at the bottom left.
He looks way too creepy.
He does. He does. So I assume this is the headquarters of the Justice League Dark. So this is Swamp Thing and
Deadman, Frankenstein, and I don't know who that other woman is.
Yeah, whoever else. They're all arguing over what to do about the Superman thing. And, like, this is what I love about Masters of Universe is, yeah, sure, they have arguments, but at least they know when to act. The Justice Leagues, any of them, whether it's Light, Dark, America, Canada, United, Unlimited, whatever, they all have to sit around and argue about crap before any decision is made.
Well, they're in league with, all these united governments, so they have to tread very lightly.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Where's the government in this? Like, seriously, did Obama not see, mystical people coming from across the expanse? Come on, seriously? Well, he hasn't seen a whole hell of a lot of everything else in his presidency. What's, not, missing out on mystical people. Sorry. Not a fan. Back to the story. Is that Jon Stewart?
No, that's the new Green Lantern. I forget what his name is. Seaman or Simon Baz.
Ah. Huh, okay. Unless it's Hal, Kyle, or John, when it comes to the human Green Lanterns, unless it's Hal, Kyle, or John, and even Hal to the lesser, Hal is like last on my list.
Yeah.
Unless it's Kyle or John, I really don't pay attention to the other human Green Lanterns. So, Man-at-Arms, Battle Cat, and all of them arrive, and of course... In Metropolis. And of course, a battle erupts. You have Hawkman versus Stratos. Who didn't see that coming? Green Lantern versus Roboto. Green Arrow versus Man-at-Arms. And Battle Cat versus Martian Manhunter?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we so need Panther. We really, really do. We go back to the House of Secrets, and Black Alice is talking about. She says, "So this partner of yours, why won't he show himself? What's the story with that guy?" Guy hardly begins to describe what he is. He was overlooked by everyone. Even I failed to recognize his true potential until it was far too late. Now I find myself allied with an entity who promises to help me take Eternia from Hordak, but will almost certainly try to take it for himself. And Eternia is mine by right. So, yeah, pretty much. We can assume from what Skeletor says right here, he was overlooked by everyone.
Well, it goes to the next page, and...
Who's laughing now?
I can't do an actual Oracle voice because that's modulated and everything.
Yeah, and I remember when this issue came out, along with the Batman image, I also screen capped this last panel because the name of this story is Dark Orko. So if you take the arc out, his name is basically Dorko. Seriously, Dorko, really? I'll say this right now. I love the twist here with Dark Orko. I do. I love the twist of and we'll get to it here in issue 4. But I love the twist that Orko is the villain, that Orko's emotions are, reaching their full potential, and he's not the bumbling wizard we knew from Filmation or the 2002 series. He is actually doing stuff that could change the universe. I love that. Giffen is actually doing something with Orko. And that's amazing. He's not just the court jester anymore.
It was what I found more appealing of all these 6 issues. Well, I think it's at issue 5 that it goes into it, but
yeah. Yeah. Overall, issue 3 thoughts?
It moves the plot along a little bit. It just kind of took its time just because the payoff was the last panel.
Yeah. You gotta think. This is 6 issues, so this is 6 months out of the year that, so this is 6 months. If you're getting this month after month after month, this final panel in issue 3 is going to hold you over until issue 4 comes out. Because I know a lot of people online that said, "Oh, Dark Orko, really? Seriously? They're going that route?" I know a lot of people didn't like it, and I know a lot of people don't like the current series and stuff, but I'm still really, really enjoying it. There are certain things that kind of bug me, but other than that, I'm really loving it so far.
Well, when you first see this whole Dark Orko thing, it does evoke that, really. But when we later go on to see the whole explanation of that, it's more enjoyable.
Oh, absolutely. So issue number 4, this is where the art changes completely, because this issue and the remaining 2 issues, 5 and 6, the art is done by Pop Mahan from the series himself. So Dexter Soy only did the first 3 issues of this series. So you're going to see a drastic change in the art here, because it's Pop Mahan versus Dexter Soy starting in issue 4 here. The cover is Zatanna. Oh, I'm sorry, Evelyn, because she's got the fishnets on. I'm like, hey, is that Zatanna? Evelyn, Tila, He-Man, and Constantine, surrounded by the fire of Dark Orko, Dark Master of the Universe. Dun dun dun. We start this one off with more news reports about the death of Superman.
So, Superman's dead. This would be kind of like a planet grieving moment, but other than the news report, you don't see much of anything about it.
No, not really. Because he's not really dead.
Yeah, but even though it's fake, whoops, we gave it away. Sorry. You'd think the ramifications for that would be more grave. Like, oh, hey, Superman's dead. Supervillains, let's all come out of the woodworks and, take over the planet.
Well, that's what happened in Forever Evil. So the entire Justice League was dead. So, we start this one off with at the Orkney Islands in the United Kingdom.
Orkney. Ha. Orc. Oh.
God.
I hope it wasn't intended.
Where's Mork when you really need him?
Yeah.
Damn. So Evelyn is trying to conjure up something, and the title of this story is Worlds Collide. All I can think of is that Power Man 5000.
So can I! I was about to say that.
I might actually throw that in here somewhere. Oh, God.
Takes me back a good 15 years.
15? I think it's older than that, isn't it?
I thought the album came out like 99.
Oh, okay. I could be wrong. Yeah, you're probably right. Yeah. Wow. Oh, God, I'm old. Um, so Evelyn is trying to conjure up and find these mystical energy siphons that Skeletor has planted all over the world. You can't destroy them, but she can track Skeletor through the use of them while he's been using them. We then jump back to Metropolis to the battle of Eternians versus Earthlings. And now we have Green Arrow going after Man at Arms, Stratos and Hot. Well, no, it is still the same matchups. Roboto versus the other Green Lantern, and what the hell is Battle? Martian Manhunter. Yeah, that's right. I love this. I love this battle scene. I mean, I'm glad Battlecat kind of has his legs crossed a little bit. Thank God for that. That's the last thing we need to see.
Well, he also has a lot of fur.
Oh God, you shouldn't have said that. You're just putting more and more horrible images.
I hope you have a lot of furry listeners.
Yeah. Most furriest loincloth ever, Battlecat. And if you think of Panther, he's flocked all over. So we see Colonel Steve Trevor basically calling everyone in the Justice League because of this battle. And we see Wonder Woman... Wonder Woman answers his call, and she's on her way. She's going to kick everybody's ass because they killed Superman. We go back to the Batcave, and something I was not expecting here, to see Alfred in this. I really was not expecting to see Alfred. But Bruce is in the cave, basically investigating and doing his detective job and all this and everything else. And he figures out what actually happened. Like you were saying earlier, this is the point where he figures out that Superman's body just basically disintegrated. No dust, no nothing. It just vanished like it teleported. Bruce doesn't say it teleported, but it was like it teleported.
Yeah.
We go back to the House of Secrets where Orko is telling Dark Alice that her death serves a greater purpose. Earth is nothing but a sacrifice upon my altar, a mean towards my conquest of Eternia. I shall remake Eternia as I have remade Skeletor, as I myself have been reborn into the collective. As it is on my home dimension of the Tralla. Little bit, take the out of that sentence there. That is a little strange, Keith.
Well, I don't know if by Tralla it's just another term for Trallans. So it's like this homeworld of Trallans. I don't know. But I do like these pages because, especially once he unleashes his little army of creatures, it reminds me a lot of Doctor Strange. And especially these creatures are very much like the mindless ones. And he's got a lot of fire, so all I'm thinking is Dormammu and lots of red, and so you got me there.
I will say that last issue when we saw Dorko at the end, the first thing I thought of was Dormammu and, okay, where's Mordo?
Yeah.
Where's Baron Mordo? So we see his unleashing, and Black Alice says, I'm going to be around for much longer, Skelly, but something tells me neither will you. That's the first intelligent thing you've said. I don't know. I mean, sure, I can kind of hear Filmations. I can kind of hear Alan Oppenheimer in my head, but I don't even know if I can hear Dobson, honestly. I mean, some of the language for Skeletor, like, when he's mixing up the words, Woman of Wonder, Man of Bats, and whatever, like, I can kind of hear it in my head, but I don't know, it's just too weird for me.
Yeah.
Way too weird. So, we go back to Metropolis. Hawkman and Stratos are having a discussion, which is interesting that they pitted those two together because those were the toys. Not necessarily saying that that's why they did it here, but I remember the 2-pack for Stratos was him versus Hawkman.
Indeed it was.
So we get Battle Cat versus, I assume it's Martian Manhunter again. He's just shapeshifted into some...
Yeah, constantly.
Lizard-like... See, this is why I think we needed Panther. Like, don't get me wrong, I like John Jones. It's fine. And in this battle, it makes sense that he would be the one to transform into some cat lizard-like creature, but I just really want to see Battle Cat versus Panther. I really want to see that. So we get more fighting. The art, I mean, I noticed the change here because it is Pop Mahan instead of Dexter. I mean, I still like it. The art is still damn good.
Like, sometimes the cartoonish expressions are a little out of place, but at the same time, I do like that.
Yeah. So we get to, let's see here, we get almost to the end now for this one, where they're back in Gotham, and it's Deadman and Swamp Thing and the Justice League Dark versus the Masters, and we see Constantine show up with Batman and everybody else. Man-at-Arms says, "What do you know of my homeland? Where are my daughter and He-Man? Still searching for Skeletor, I hope, because he framed them for a crime that actually never happened, according to Tall, Dark, and Creepy here." And then Batman's like, "Don't confuse them, Constantine. All evidence suggests that Skeletor set us all at each other's throats, Man-at-Arms, which is why we need to start working together."
Teamwork! Yeah!
Yep.
As he snatches the cigarette out of his hand. We get it, folks. Smoking is bad for you.
And we come to find out, we get through the monologue here that Orko keeps possessions close to his heart that he wants to keep secret. And it turns out Superman is alive.
You don't say.
Yep. Superman is alive. Next, the story of Dorko. I will never not call it that now. I mean, it's just too funny.
I won't hold it against you.
Thoughts on issue 4?
It's definitely moving the plot along. Like, finally, anyone could see what the answers were, but it's like, okay, good. Mm-hmm. Now the characters are finally agreeing and they can stop their petty squabbles. Let's get to the end.
So it took 3.5 issues of battling. Well, 2.5. It took issue 2 and issue 3 and issue 4. So yeah, half of issue 4. So 2.5 issues of battling of Masters versus DC.
It should have been 1.
Yeah, one big battle. It really should have. One big, giant, out-of-the-way battle. Overall, issue 3 and 4 are alright for me. They're not the best here. I think we're going to be getting to the best in 5 and 6. So we're going to take another short break and come back with the final 2 issues after this.
I give the punchlines around here. Got it?
Alright, issue 5, DC Universe versus Masters of the Universe. It is Superman with lizard, cat-like creatures scratching the crap out of him.
It's those things of Orko's little Dark Horde.
Yeah, the Dark Horde. Oh, good lord. Title on the cover is Trapped in Skeletor's Grasp, and honestly, the best thing about this cover is Skeletor's image on the background.
Yeah.
Honestly, I am a fan of Superman. I'm a fan of several different versions of Superman. whether it be comics, television, movies, whatever, except for that crappy 2006 movie. Brandon Routh, worst Superman ever. Honestly, if they would have just left Superman off of here and just had Skeletor's little face there be the entire cover, I probably would have liked this a little better.
Or even just replace Skeletor's face with Dorko's face and have Skeletor where Superman is.
Yeah,
that's,
I could.
Yeah, it's dynamic.
Yeah, I could see that, but this, after all, is DC versus Motu, so they have to have one character from each universe. Hey, wait a minute. Is that a misprint? There's no way in hell. There's no way in hell Power Man 5000 did the same song twice.
Oh,
Yeah. Issue 4 says the story title is Worlds Collide, and so does issue 5, but it doesn't say like part 1 or part 2 on either one.
Quick, write your congressman.
It's not like anyone at DC Comics actually listens to this show.
Or continuity, for that matter.
Yeah, that's a whole other discussion. We start this one off at the House of Secrets, where Evelyn says, "There it is, Skeletor's place of power. I can sense him within. Somehow I expected a more impressive hideout. From this house, he is slowly murdering your entire planet. How are you impressed?" I gotta give it to Evelyn. She kind of threw Marlena under the bus there.
Her tongue is still as sharp as ever, but the artwork for Evelyn, at least in the face, is really soft or just kind of generic. She doesn't have any anger expressions, especially in, I guess, the second page.
Yeah, I wish she was the white-haired vixen from 2002. I really do. So...
We're in the inside of the house, and you can't really make out that that's actually Alice, because I don't know if this energy is like siphoning her life off, because she looks really gaunt and like a boy.
Yeah, I mean, I can tell it's her because of her lines, but as far as the way she looks, I mean, she looks like she's 95 and she hasn't eaten in 25 years. Like, no food, no nothing, just completely starved for 25 years. You know, oh God, I don't want to say this because I know people are going to come after me for saying this, but I'm not trying to be cruel here, but she looks like what you would see on those late night child infomercials.
Of an angel.
You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah. Feed the children.
Yeah, the feed the children stuff. That's what she kind of looks like here. I mean, she's a little worse for wear right now. So Orko says, "Skeletor, you fool! He-Man is right outside." And Orko says, "I'm not taking any chances when I'm this close to victory. We have a Fwoosh." And Evelyn says, "It doesn't look like one of Skeletor's spells." And Orko sends out or Dorko, I should say, sends out a massive world-spanning mind control spell.
Of course!
Of course. And now that the Masters and Batman and all the allies are, on the same page finally, Constantine says, "Incoming, Struth, that's some bad mojo trying to get in here." And he protects them all from getting hit with the mind control. It's a little strange that how that one little blast can divert all that energy, but okay. And we see the call... Well, not the call. We see all of the other Leaguers being controlled. We see Black Canary, I assume?
Yeah.
Black Canary...
Killer Croc, Black Manta, Firestorm, Cheetah, I think that's New Omak.
Yep.
Blue Beetle and Orion.
Yeah, Blue Beetle and Orion. I do not like Orion's design there.
Yeah, I'm a sucker for Kirby artwork, so.
I mean, I like Kirby art. Don't get me wrong, I do, but I don't like the colors. Is what I don't like. Like they can have the Kirby design, just have the color, the red and white colors, or red and silver, or red and gray, or whatever. So we get to Adam, and he says, "Prepare yourself. There's no telling how we'll be received. Lead on, gallant prince." Or should I say gallant dunce? "Skeletor, I bring you a gift." Dun dun.
Evelyn backstab? No!
Yeah, you think?
Actually, she does mystically stab him in the back on the next page.
Yes. Well, no, Skeletor blocks it, though. Yeah, because he says, "Stand down, Evelyn. We shall need this fool if we are to stop our true enemy." Yeah, see his hand is right there?
Yeah.
So he does stop Adam. He does save his nephew, so that's interesting. Adam goes on to say, "Tila was right about you. But you, Skeletor, you bring the world to the brink of destruction, and you expect me to believe some other foe is behind all of this?" Yeah, of course I do, He-Man.
And then we go to flashbacks, and then this whole, here's Horde Prime, and...
I mean, I like this. I think it's kind of cool that they worked Horde Prime into it.
Well, yeah, because in the original 6-issue series, he's talking to that skull, but we don't realize that that's the petrified skull of Horde Prime.
Right.
Which is kind of cool.
And that's where in the 6-issue series that, at the end, obviously, we see that Orko has control. Well, we assume it was Orko, which it was. Has, become one with the skull. Oh, God. This is a much better version of Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. So we get the backstory here, like you said. Skeletor says, "Orko of Trawler, would-be wizard and unofficial mascot of Castle Grayskull. He realized that I had found the Skull of Power even before more powerful mages like the Sorceress did. Despite finding him thoroughly annoying, I always recognized that Orko had the heart of a hero. Too bad for him that his spells always backfired." First of all, I love seeing regular Orko.
Yeah. I mean, he doesn't look any different. He looks like Orko.
Mm-hmm. So. The only real difference here with Pop Mahan is that his mouth scarf looks like Donatello's bandana from TMNT because it has the extra flowy kind of scarf-like thing. I'm not saying it's bad. I like it. I think it's awesome seeing Orko in his original form. We find out that Skeletor goes on to say, "Orko sought to destroy the Skull of Power. He got a face full of evil for his trouble. Orko absorbed the very worst of Horde Prime, unlocking the mental barriers that had always held him back."
Now, was this before or after everyone's minds were erased? I want to say before, because is he technically behind all of that stuff that happened in the 6 issues?
No, Skeletor was behind the memory erase. But at the end, it was Orko that showed up. Because in this, they explain that Orko saved Skeletor. So, no, yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe it was Orko the whole time. Yeah, probably was. Dude, I don't know. It's been so long since I've read that series. So we see on Trala that Superman is trying to break free. And Orko's like, did I just reveal my weakness to you? No, of course not.
But he does.
He does, yes, but...
So he's no different than regular Orko. Bumbling oaf?
Yeah, no. We go back to Batman and Man-at-Arms. And, are we quite certain this cottage is the place? I'm sorry, that house is not a cottage. That house is like the house on Haunted Hill.
Yeah.
I mean...
It's a mini mansion.
Yeah, pretty much. Batman says it is a dimensional nexus, undetectable by technology means the Secret Six used it to hide out here.
Ah, what the hell's up with their faces in the lower left-hand corner?
Oh, I know it. They look so horrible. They look so aged. And Skeletor comes out and says, "Hello, Duncan. Those are stand ready, comrades. Those are Eternia's most dangerous villains, and the Queen? What? The Queen's alive?" And which is, I like this that Marlena is stepping up here, but it's so weird seeing Skeletor be the background to her. It really, really is when she says, "Lower your weapons, Man-at-Arms."
Well, he's so big at this point, he is the background.
Well, yes, but I mean, like, Skeletor is usually not one to be one-upped on,
Yeah, and then it just turns into, hey, we have to band together and fight Dark Orko now. And, well, you get to the last page, and all the people who are mind-controlled show up. The very last panel, at the bottom, there's a mind-controlled Joker. He hasn't reappeared in the Batman series, has he?
This was published, according to this, April 2014. No, he has not in the core New 52, but he has been in several other things. He was in Injustice Year 1. In Injustice, the very first issue, Superman kills him.
Yeah.
But no, he hasn't resurfaced. So, yeah, maybe that's just a little nod, I guess. I don't know.
I mean, I feel like as a whole, this is kind of a one-off thing.
Yeah. Oh, most definitely. I mean, it ties into the Masters of the Universe more than it does to the DC Universe, honestly.
Exactly.
Which I think that was kind of the point of, hey, like you said earlier, it's kind of, hey, let's do, the usual DC Universe versus Master Universe, because everybody wants to see that again, My overall thoughts on issue 5 is, I love the reveal, I love the origin, how Orko was, trying to do the right thing, and sadly, he no bueno'd.
So like, he is the villain, but he's not. It's hey, we have to band together and save him. And
yep. Mm-hmm. The funny thing is he hasn't shown up since.
No, I guess he's just been in that dimension where he picks Skeletor up.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. So, any final thoughts on issue 5 before we get to the finale here?
Here we go, final battle. Fight.
Yeah, number 6 cover. It's Dark Orko versus everyone, and we see Batman, Green Lantern, Superman, Wonder Woman, Flash, He-Man, Man-at-Arms, Tila, Stratos. Looking like crap.
And here's where the artwork gets different on every page, basically.
Not a fan of the art in this one, huh? The first page, it does have some sort of consistency, at least with Skeletor anyway, so at least they got that right.
Yeah. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, at least 4 different artists.
Yeah. Pop Mahan is on pages 1 to 10 and 17 and 20, or 17 to 20. Eduardo Francisco is on 11 to 16. Veronica Gaylandi is pages 1 to 10, and Rex Locust pages 11 to 20. At least the colors are, good.
Yeah.
The art style is going to change dramatically throughout the entire book here, but so this is the end battle. These are the end times, and
everyone's outside fighting while they give Adam the chance to go into the house, find Orko's dimension, which it turns out, oh, I'm in this dimension where I'm going to find Orko. No, the dimension is Orko.
Mm-hmm. I mean, he's pretty much walking on Orko. And he says, probably should have planned this out a little better. A whole dimension to search, and I haven't even a clue where Orko's keeping Superman captive. At least he hasn't detected me yet. Good thing you what? Came here in the guise of a plain old Prince Adam? Did you really think that would keep me from sensing your presence? Or did Skeletor neglect to mention that I am a god here? All I can think of is Jim Carrey.
All I could think of was God Skeletor from the movie. I am God.
Yeah. All I can think of is Jim Carrey. Then a god am I. Was that too over the top? I can never tell. I do like this page, though. I really do like it. It's probably the best design for Orko. The fact that Adam is standing on him.
Yeah.
And just seeing it. I do really like that. He looks like a giant tree stump coming out of the ground.
Well, I think it's a really neat concept.
Yeah, absolutely. So Orko, tries to capture Adam, and he goes for Superman, and he says, I'm not trying to escape. I know you, old friend, and a treasure you claim you keep close to your heart. And he gets right there, and, those magic words, by the power of Grayskull, I have the power. I really can't tell a difference, honestly. Like, if you look at the page where he says, I have the power, and the page where he says, by the power of Grayskull, I really, his face doesn't change at all. Like, I'm used to Filmation. I'm used to seeing, a smaller Adam or a different, if you look at 2002, because honestly, this entire series run, from the miniseries to now, right now with Blood of Grayskull, this is more the 2002 kind of design thing for He-Man and Adam, and honestly, I don't see, real size change between the two of them. I mean, sure, he gets a little more powerful, but, the overall art design on him doesn't change.
Well, as He-Man, he's as big as Superman, so...
Yeah, okay. Alright, I don't know. So, he frees Superman, and they have to face the Trollan army of demons, which they do. We then see, because He-Man says, or Superman says, kind of starting to wish you brought some of my friends. And He-Man says, they have their hands full back on Earth. And we go to Greece, Egypt, Cambodia, of all places, and France. And we see...
they're trying to destroy these...
Yeah, they're trying to destroy these timepiece things, or these energy things. We have Stratos with Battlecat, Wonder Woman, Evelyn, and Constantine, Men-at-Arms, Lady Xanadu, and Black Adam, or Shazam, or whatever. His costume looks black in Egypt, so I assume it's Black Adam.
Yeah.
And Roboto, and whoever else in France, because they're trying to destroy the energy siphons.
Yeah, everyone else is still fighting off these things outside of the house.
Yeah.
Batman's having this conversation with Black Alice, which almost reminds, not quite, but kind of reminds me of what was the episode where Batman has to speak to one of the Royal Flush Gang members who's about to die?
Ace.
Yeah.
It was Epilogue. Was the flashback in Epilogue for JLU. Yep. Yeah, that's really what does You're right. You're spot on there.
She has to undo all the mind warping.
And and they're like, well, wait, that's not the master. So let's see. So she's undoing all the mind warps. And Orko slowly threatens Skeletor. What I gave, I can certainly take away, and blah 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 blah. Just give us regular old Orko back at this point. As much as I love the character twist with this, honestly, I would have been a little bit more impressed if it was just Horde Prime himself. So let's see here.
Well, then, Superman starts wielding the sword, which brings up another batch of issues since he's susceptible to magic, yet this sword is clearly magic.
Yeah, and he says, He-Man says, just don't say by the power of Grayskull. By the power of what? So at least they do that, and Superman gets him close enough, and He-Man then uses the sword and destroys the skull. And Orko kind of vanishes. I mean, he kind of goes poof. He pretty much vanishes, and so does Skeletor. Everybody involved with all that just kind of vanishes, and then it just kind of really wraps up really fast. Where we have, go ahead. What were you gonna say?
I know, I'm nodding in agreement.
Oh, okay. We see Adam hugging his mother, and we see why she can't come back, and Adam's going to promise to find a way to get her back, and Tila says, "Why didn't you tell her about Adora?" Well, that would be a little cruel.
Yeah. I mean, that would just make her stay on Earth all more heartbreaking.
Yeah, pretty much. So after they leave, the Mystics close the portal. Superman says to Batman, "So what did you think of them?" "Huh, I thought they'd never leave." "What do you two say we go past that hole we made in the Batcave?" "Don't miss the origin of She-Ra starting in He-Man and the Masters of the Universe number 13. Dun, dun, dun. Because, as I said, this slowly took place during issues 7 through 12, which is our next recording that we'll do for the pull bag for that. I think we're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back with final thoughts and rate the arc overall on a scale of 5 to 0 stars. We'll be back.
Now for a behind-the-scenes look at Geekcast Radio Network's newest show, Talking in Circles.
So, Chuck, Greg, what are you guys thinking for this week's show?
Well, Dan, how about we just talk about the things that we've read or watched this week?
We do reviews like that every week, Chuck. How about a game like Fact or Fiction or The Power of Names?
Those are great, and we're always coming up with new ideas for games. And how about some top fives? You know how I love my top fives.
What about tournament-style brackets, or sequel, reboot, and destroy? Who will win in a fight? Taking too far? Crazy but true news? Or
yes, it appears we have lots of things to work on.
Listen to Talking in Circles, taking timeless topics in new directions. Every Tuesday on iTunes or GeekCastRadio.com, the Geekcast Radio Network.
Hey Dan, who's the guy with the creepy voice?
Hello, geeks. Want a podcast that covers a vast array of topics with no rhyme or reason? Then check out Altered Geek Unlimited, where the topics fly more or less off the cuff. We cover media news, TV, our favorite geek products, and of course, your feedback. So get altered, get geeky with the Altered Geeks every Friday on the Geekcast Radio Network.
We are back here inside the pull bag, and it is time for final thoughts on DC Universe versus Masters of the Universe from 2013-2014. For me, overall, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the interplay between mostly Batman, Superman, and the rest of the Masters. Wonder Woman, she's alright. I wish her and Tila had a little bit more of a fight, though. I mean, they fought, don't get me wrong, they did, but I wish that they, like, traded barbs a little bit more, like, you know, some wordplay battle versus just hitting each other with a stick. I like the art overall. I think I like Dexter Soy's art a little bit more than Pop Mahan's, and that last issue, there was 4 or 5 artists on it. That's too much. Like, just have one person do an entire issue, and that should be that.
What was the reasoning behind that?
I honestly don't know. Maybe it was to save time to get the issue out in proper time or something. I don't know the reasoning behind it.
Or it's one of those fan initiatives like they did with Harley Quinn.
Oh, Lord. 20 artists on one book. Oh, my God. I mean, it was cool. It was fine for issue 0, but thankfully they went ahead and scaled way back for other issues of that series. Overall, I'm probably going to give this 3.5 out of 5, which on the GCRN scale, 3.5 out of 5 is liked it. Issues are certainly prevalent, but so are the successes. Typically, there is one specific area of extraordinary achievement or a multitude of quality moments that take the negative aspects relatively easy to accept. Failures are not necessarily glaring and are often a byproduct of design, though the difficulties one encounters hold your enjoyment back from reaching its fullest potential. Yeah, that's what I'm going with. What are your final thoughts on the arc overall, and what's going to be your rating?
Oh, I am flat out giving it a 2.
Oh, you disliked it, did you?
Yeah, I don't think there's any way I'm going to go back and read this.
No, I mean, yeah.
This probably could have been 4 issues.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's a DC title, so let's tie it in with some DC characters. But I feel the same story could have been achieved where they go to Earth, where, you know, there are some light incidents. Like, you don't have to fight all the characters. Like, oh, we're here, and we happen to run in to these like Superman and Batman, and in the end, they might help us in some way to get to this end. But and then just the fact that we're in this age of comics where everything, for the most part, is just taken too seriously. Yeah. Where if you look, it was like 2 issues where they in the 80s where they did the crossover between DC and Masters. Mm-hmm. Like, there was a funness to it, and I feel like that could have still been achieved.
Mm-hmm.
It's all this darkness just seems to bring everything down.
Yeah, I mean, it is very dark. I'll give you that, and I do agree. Honestly, I think it would have been better. You know, if you look at the cover, this is 6 issues at $2.99 an issue. So let's see if I can.
$18.
You're probably right. Yeah, $17.94 before tax. So honestly, if they had just done 2 giant size issues at, say, like $5.99 a piece, that'd be $12. You'd be saving yourself $6.
Yeah, even 2, larger size issues would have done well enough.
Yeah, I mean, I do really enjoy the writing. I enjoy the fact that they gave us an explanation for Marlena. I like that. I like the twist with Orko because they actually did something with Orko that wasn't just, hey guys, my magic works on Trala, but it doesn't work on here. It doesn't work on Attorney Ashara.
Well, that's probably my favorite part about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just, where is it? Where's Skeletor now? Where's Orko now?
Yep.
Read to find out.
Yes. Oh, absolutely. Where can the good people find you online, sir?
Well, as normally, you can find me on the Facebooks at @ADosBaron, Twitter at @ADosBaron. I don't use Instagram or anything like that. But there's the website, adosbaron.com, which is dedicated to my voice stuff. In the near future, I should be collaborating with the good folks over at GeekFest Rants to give them maybe a podcast or two and some video stuff we're going to be collaborating on. Hopefully that will involve a Cobra Commander performance of some sort.
Oh, interesting. Interesting.
Yes.
All right. So next time on the Pullback, ladies and gentlemen, I had planned for episode 88 to be the Back to the Future 7-issue miniseries from, hell, a long-ass time ago. I had not been able to find it, so episode 88 is going to start our countdowns. We are going to be counting down our top 20 favorite comics characters in episode 88. I have no idea who's going to be on the episode with me. At least 2 or 3 different people will be on there with me. Coming up in October, we will have 2 giant-sized episodes in week 1. We will have episode 89 and 90 as one podcast, the top 20 favorite comic series and top 20 favorite comics overall. And then we'll have 91 and 92 together with top 20 favorite comic writers and top 20 favorite comic artists. And then week 2 of October, Das and I will be back talking about the What Lies Within arc from He-Man and the Masters Universe. That's issues 7 to 12 of the ongoing. And then potentially I might have to move this, might have to change it. I think Ryan, the Uneven Flow, and I are going to be talking about Gotham Central in episode 94 and 95 as a giant-sized issue. And then episode 96, 97 is going to be giant-sized, where Joe Reed and I talk about TMNT Turtles in Time, issues 1 through 4 from IDW, as well as issues 37 and 38 of that main Turtles series. And then at the end of October, episode 98 is going to be Angel Smile Time. It's the comic adaptation from IDW of the episode from the series. And episode 99 is going to be Steve Megatron and I in the 4th week of October for Batman Beyond 10,000 Clowns and Batgirl Beyond. Week 5, I have planned, since week 5 is Halloween week, I have episode 100 right now says the Death and Return of Superman. I'm not sure if episode 100 is going to stay that topic. But episode 101 is going to be Batman The Long Halloween, which will air on Halloween.
Nice.
So that's what's going on for the rest of September and October. November is going to be Punisher Month again. I'm not sure exactly what we're doing with that, but it will only be 4 episodes this time around instead of 8 like it was last year. So make your great escape into comics, and we will catch you next time.
Hey, you two, knock it off!
Orko, what are you doing here?
Trying to sleep.
Orko, you've been asleep in the back seat all this time?
Yeah, I hope I didn't miss anything exciting.
You just heard the latest episode of The Pullback, GCRN's comic book review podcast. There are several ways to get in touch with us and leave feedback for the show. You can visit the website, geekcastradio.com, where you can comment on the episode and all of our different podcasts. You can rate our show on iTunes. Be sure to leave us feedback. Call the voicemail line, 502-526-5821. Please remember to tell us the show you were leaving the message for, and your name. Become a fan of us on Facebook by searching Geekcast Radio Network. You can send us an email, feedback@geekcastradio.com. Follow us on Twitter, @GeekCastRadio. So until next time, unleash the geek in you.